There's a question you've asked yourself countless times. A question that arises in those gatherings where everyone seems connected, except you. In those conversations, others enjoy while your mind wanders to deeper territories. Why can't I just fit in? What you're about to discover is that perhaps it was never about not being able to, but about not needing to. You're there, smiling in the crowd, but your mind is elsewhere. While they talk about the weather, you contemplate the universe. While they gossip about celebrities, you question the very nature of fame. Have you ever wondered why you feel so distant? Why the conversations that excite so many seem empty to you? It's not that you're antisocial. It's that your mind demands more. Your intellect craves depth in a world that celebrates the superficial. You watch words flow without substance. You see brilliant ideas suffocate under the weight of triviality. And you feel that familiar itch, that urge to escape, not from human connection, but from its diluted version. And then you remember, this has always been your reality. Since school, when your questions made teachers uncomfortable. Since adolescence, when you preferred a book to a party. What society labeled as weirdness was simply the first sign of a mind that refused arbitrary limits. Schopenhauer once wrote, "Solitude offers the intellectually superior man a double advantage, to be with himself and to not be with others." You've felt this, haven't you? It's not arrogance that pulls you away. It's clarity. While others chase noise, you seek silence. Not because you despise them, but because in silence, you find answers they wouldn't dare pursue. Brilliant minds don't avoid human connection. They simply understand that true connection is rare. Extraordinarily rare. You've realized intelligence isn't just solving complex problems. It's seeing what others miss, feeling what they don't. And that, inevitably, sets you apart. History brims with brilliant minds who found their voice in solitude. Newton formulating physics laws while isolated during the plague. Emily Dickinson crafting poetic universes without leaving her room. Tesla designing the future while dining alone every night. And Schopenhauer, of course, the philosopher who saw solitude not as a curse, but as a frontier. An intelligent man, he wrote, is much better entertained by his own thoughts than by those of others. Haven't you lived this truth? Haven't you felt how your own thoughts, when given space, offer richer company than most social interactions? Every book you read, every idea you explore, pulls you a step further away. Not because you want distance, but because true understanding reshapes your world. While others seek distraction, you seek meaning. And to truly understand is a heavy burden. Schopenhauer put it sharply. Pain increases in proportion to knowledge. You know this feeling, don't you? Seeing cracks in the shiny surface everyone admires. It's not pessimism, it's lucidity. And in a world built on distraction, lucidity is revolutionary. Each new insight brings responsibility. Wait. You learn about ecosystems' fragility, and mindless consumerism loses its appeal. You study cognitive biases, and can't take arguments at face value. You delve into history and see through simplistic national myths. And as these truths accumulate, ordinary conversations become exercises in restraint, in biting back what you know to avoid discomfort, in feigning ignorance to not seem pretentious, until one day you ask, is this worth it? And that day, perhaps for the first time, you consciously choose not to go, not to participate in the social ritual others deem essential, and you feel something unexpected, relief. the relief of no longer fragmenting yourself to fit in. You've been told you should go out more, connect more, socialize more, as if interaction quantity dictated its value. But you know what they don't. 100 empty conversations don't equal 1 moment of true understanding. Society mistakes presence for connection, and you, with your restless mind, have spotted the difference. You don't reject closeness. You reject fakeness disguised as intimacy. Solitude is the fate of all exceptional spirits, wrote Schopenhauer, not as lament, but as fact. The superior mind doesn't choose solitude. It chooses not to waste energy on trivia. You watch modern social dances, the endless exchange of validation, the visceral fear of missing out. You see intelligent, talented people dilute themselves for approval. And you wonder, is this what they call connection? Your intelligence has exposed this fallacy, this unspoken contract demanding you be everywhere, know everyone, be seen by all. Schopenhauer noted, a man's sociability stands roughly in inverse ratio to his intellectual value. A provocative claim? Almost offensive by today's standards. And yet, haven't you observed this in your own life? Haven't you noticed the brightest minds around you grow more selective with social time? How they seem less dependent on constant validation? What others call aloofness is really self-preservation. Protecting that inner space where truly valuable ideas need silence to grow. While others fear being alone with their thoughts, you've learned to navigate yours. You've turned solitude into an idea lab. Your isolation isn't failure, it's method. Haven't your brightest ideas come in loneliest moments? That's no coincidence. When the world's volume lowers, you finally hear yourself. And that voice, so often drowned by social noise, holds truths worth hearing. Humanity's leaps forward didn't come from committees. They weren't born at networking parties. They emerged from minds daring to think alone, that embraced isolation not as punishment, but as clarity's prerequisite. Schopenhauer understood, solitude is the lot of all outstanding minds. Not because outstanding minds can't socialize, but because they've discovered greater joy in cultivating their own thoughts. You've known this state, that timeless moment when you're so immersed in work, art, or thought that the world fades. And in that state, paradoxically, you've never felt less alone, because you've touched a communion beyond the social, a connection to something greater. Every social interaction carries a cost, an energy tax few acknowledge. For average minds, this cost is low. For superior intellects, it can be crushing. Schopenhauer put it bluntly, nearly all our sufferings spring from our dealings with other people. A harsh statement, but one you've lived. Every time you simplified complex ideas for palatability, every time you muted enthusiasm for topics others found boring, every time you felt that peculiar exhaustion after hours of conversation, barely scratching life's surface. They call it social hangover, that fatigue after being around people. For you, it's not mere tiredness. It's the toll of suppressing your true nature, of operating at half capacity to avoid discomfort. And you wonder, is this worth it? Does belonging justify this constant self-diminishment? Schopenhauer would have understood. He'd likely advise choosing productive solitude over sterile sociability, not from misanthropy, but from value calculation, from investing limited energy where it bears richest fruit. Here's a paradox you've discovered. The more your intellect grows, the more selective your connections become. It's not that you don't want company, it's that you've tasted depth and won't settle for less. You seek minds that challenge yours, souls unafraid of life's big questions. And when you find that connection, when you meet someone who sees the world with your intensity, those rare moments, however fleeting, outvalue thousands of hollow social nights. Schopenhauer knew, being alone is the fate of all great minds, a fate deplored at times, but always chosen as the lesser of two evils. History's greatest thinkers thrived on exceptional connections, friendships that reshaped human knowledge, dialogues that, far from social noise, redefined possibility, because true meeting of minds doesn't follow conventional socialization. It doesn't need constant physical presence. It ignores empty rituals. It thrives on mutual recognition of a shared worldview. You've known this, those rare bonds where you needn't explain yourself, where you skip small talk and dive straight into depths, where months or years apart don't dilute the connection's intensity. This quality, not quantity, defines your social life's true worth. What others see as your lack is actually your liberation. While they drown in others' approval, you breathe the crisp air of authenticity. You don't need the tribe's constant validation. Your worth isn't measured in applause, but in courage to think. There's wild freedom in not craving external validation, in not counting your day by likes or invitations, in building an inner world so rich that lacking external stimulus isn't loss, but gain. Schopenhauer observed, a high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsociable, not as curse, but as condition for thought's true freedom. Because in that unsociability, originality blooms, where ideas aren't constantly diluted by consensus, where you can follow a thought to its logical end, no matter how unpopular. You've felt this freedom, haven't you? That moment you didn't go where everyone went, didn't read what everyone read, didn't think how everyone thought, and discovered the sky didn't fall, that your existence didn't vanish for lack of witnesses. In a world addicted to external validation, your ability to exist without it is a superpower, a resilience letting you pursue unpopular truths, create art that doesn't please, develop ideas needing no immediate approval to prove their worth. There's a dimension of human experience beyond the social, a realm housing life's big questions, transformative discoveries, timeless art. And this realm is only accessible through detachment from immediate social concerns. Schopenhauer nailed it. Ordinary people think about how to spend their time. A man of talent thinks about how to use it. This fundamental priority difference explains why brilliant minds seem so indifferent to conventional socializing. It's not disinterest in humanity, but deeper interest in what humanity could be. Think of works that transformed you, books that reshaped your thinking, scientific theories that expanded your cosmos, art that moved you to tears. How many emerged from minds obsessed with fitting in? How many were born from intellects prioritizing social approval over truth? History suggests an uncomfortable truth. Humanity's greatest contributions often come from those who placed intellectual pursuit above social life, not from contempt for others, but from unwavering commitment to something greater than social needs. And you, when honoring your need for solitude, when choosing reflection over empty socialization, you're not just indulging a preference, you're nurturing seeds of something potentially transcendent. Your intelligence isn't a curse condemning you to isolation. It's a compass guiding you to deeper connections. truer ones, more yours. If you've read this far, something here resonated, because you too have felt the weight and privilege of seeing beyond. You're not alone in your solitude. A silent community of minds like yours exists, minds preferring depth to dispersion, finding richer company in one transformative thought than in 100 empty gatherings. Schopenhauer, that great champion of thoughtful solitude, reminds us, intelligence is invisible to the man who has none. Perhaps that's why your indifference to conventional socializing baffles some. They can't see what you see, can't feel what you feel, the wealth of your inner world, the depth of your reflections, the supreme joy of an idea unfolding in your mind's quiet. But now you know. Nothing's wrong with you. Your pull toward isolation isn't a flaw to fix. It's the natural expression of an intellect demanding more from existence than social approval. And while most keep chasing validation, you've found the courage to stop, to listen to silence, to cultivate thoughts that may never be popular, but hold seeds of truth, to build connections based not on need to belong, but on genuine meeting of minds. Leave "I choose depth" in the comments if these words moved you. And remember, your tendency to step away isn't weakness. It's the price and reward of a mind refusing to settle for superficiality. In a world obsessed with socializing, your ability to be alone isn't your limitation. It's your superpower.